Well, good evening, all my little husky fluffs and other puppies of sorts. It's Sister Vine here with you tonight, and, well, I had a thoughts for us. So, that's what we're going to do today, a thoughts video. And my thought is, can a movie actually be bad? Bad enough to not be warrant existence? Now, objectively, I'm sure some movie out there was just so bad it didn't deserve to be. But, even out of the worst movies I've ever seen, only like one or two did I even personally think, that was horrible. And accidentally, some of those because I find it cheaper to buy a movie on disc 3 months later than to go to the movie and theater and see it. Some of those movies I actually own. In fact, I think every movie I would classify in that level of why is it, I've actually paid money for and still possess. And I'm not willing to get rid of. Because maybe one day I'll give it another chance. I mean, I paid for it. It's mine. I will enjoy it whenever I feel like trying to enjoy it again. But what I'm really getting at, though, not just that there are a couple of bad movies in existence that are actually legit bad, what about the movies that just aren't good? And I give that a heavy, heavy, heavy air quotes of not good. Now, not good in the sense of they don't fulfill what you personally felt they should have done. They didn't do some justice to a franchise that you liked. They just did not fill somehow what you wanted out of them. That doesn't make them not good still. I'll explain a little more. Now, say you really like romance movies. You're a romance movie fanatic. That's just your game. It's not my game, but say that's your game, for hypothetical purposes. Now, you haven't had a good romance movie come out in a while, but you want something more to watch. Now, just because you're not getting, I don't know, a new Titanic out every year, and you've seen that one already, so you need a new movie to watch in the genre that makes you happy. Now, so some other romance movie comes out. Lovey-Dovey in Philadelphia or something. I don't. That just made that up. Boy, I hope I just made that up. That sounds like a horrible movie idea. Still not going to complain about it yet. Now, we'll just say that Lovey-Dovey in Philadelphia bombed in the theaters. It was horrible. Budget twice as big as how much it brought in. So, objectively, bad movie. Critics said horrible things about it. But you have been waiting for a good love story for over a year. It's been way over a year since something in your romance category has actually hit the theaters or disc or TV or whatever. You need a fill. So, for you, the person who likes romance movies, this movie fills in that gap. And it makes you happy. And for all everybody else knows, you're probably the target audience to pick it up on disc, to watch it again, because there aren't a lot of filler. There's not a lot going on to fulfill your needs. So there is that. Now I used a genre I'm not into with a movie that doesn't exist to start this conversation off. But I actually do have some genres that I do attach to some extent. Well, actually, a lot. These are some of my favorite things to watch. Sci-fi movies and comic book movies. I spend so much of my free time watching sci-fi TV shows or comic book TV shows or sci-fi movies or comic book movies. because they entertain me. They hit my buttons. They are my jam. So yes, I love watching the next Marvel movie when it comes out, or the next DC movie, even the next DC movie. Again, we're getting into this as a whole. Uh, Even the worst movies in the categories I like, I will still watch again occasionally. Um, Now, sci-fi, for a while, we had a lot of television options that were going on. So the fact that we didn't have a new Star Wars for a lot of years was not the worst thing. We had Star Trek movies coming out for quite a while. Um, in fact, I don't think there was really ever much of a break between when Star Trek movies were coming out to when we switched universes and let J.J. Abrams start up again. I think it was pretty close. It wasn't a big drop. So we always had those. We had television series going on, so again, filling the need. I remember growing up, there were quite a few different Star Treks that were on TV, from Next Gen, DS9, Voyager, um, Enterprise. We had other things like Babylon 5, Stargate SG-1. We had sci-fi. So just because I didn't have a lot of good sci-fi movies coming out necessarily at any given moment, I always had candy to keep me busy, something to keep feeding me. When you don't have a lot of good new feed coming out in one market, you're definitely looking to the other market to try and fill in the gaps. Now, yes, there are still some sci-fi TV shows coming out here and there. In fact, it's making more of a comeback. Uh, Thank you, streaming media, and thank you, Mandalorian, for having existed. I loved that series. I'm assuming it's over by the last episode. No spoiling. I'm not going to spoil, but I'm guessing it's ended. um, and I'm looking forward to some of the new series that they're coming out with. Um, but looking at some of the movies that were not as good, I still do pop in, say, both of the Hulk movies, both the one where he was throwing tanks around, and the later one, the one that was more in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where he um, tried to get a cure for himself. Um, that was pretty good, actually, but it was still bad. But I still like it. I like putting those movies on, whether it is to play while I'm playing a video game or something, and just have something on the background, or something to watch on a random Saturday because I want to relax. I want to watch something silly while I check my Pokemon or read my email, or clean the house, or I'm sewing. I don't know, whatever other thing I might be doing. Uh, there were quite a few bad sci-fi movies. I'm not going to go to every single one of those. There were way too many of those to count for. But any of them that I purchased, and there's a lot of them, I'll still probably watch them. Independence Day and the sequel that came out like 20 years later. I still enjoy watching those. Uh, all of the Star Wars movies, whether I disagree with how they did something, whether or not I liked how any particular item was done in one of them, I still watch them. In fact, at Disney Plus, I have in the last month rewatched all of the Star Wars movies. And I rewatched The Mandalorian from start to finish again, just because it was there. Uh, Actually, I watched it when I still had like 2 episodes left. I haven't rewatched the last 2 episodes again, but probably will because they were good. Uh, um, Parts of the Lord of the Rings movies, they drew them out too long, in my opinion. There's a lot of things that I didn't like that they took out, or things that they put in that they changed a character from the book. I'm still going to watch it. I still own all those things. I still think they're fun to put on in the background, or to just watch on that random day when you feel like you want to have, you know, 2 straight days of watching Lord of the Rings to get all the way through it. From Hobbit to Returning of a King. Don't give them any ideas to add anything else in the middle. No, it's long enough. Uh, but yeah, lots of the comic book movies I've found were but they're still fun. Um, some of them turned out to be better than I expected them to be, and I'm certainly not disappointed. I actually thought I'd hate the Captain America movie, the first one, because before the the whole current Marvel Cinematic Universe, I didn't really care for Captain America. I'm not gonna lie, it's just he not really attached to me. It just didn't have anything fun going on as far as character itself. But it's not that I'd read any comic books or seen any TV shows with him, so I didn't have anything to go on other than the character's looks, and I was bored. Seeing that movie, I was the opposite of bored. And as far as an origin movie goes, it's one that I actually enjoy watching over. Same thing with Iron Man. Iron Man, though, I at least knew I liked him from a cartoon in the late 90s. That was actually not bad. So I had fun with him already. He already had a spot in my fluffy puppy head. Uh, am I happy with all of the movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? No. Do I still watch them all again? Yes. Uh, and even the ones that aren't in that cinematic universe. Some of the ones like a few of the Spider-Mans that uh, I know aren't as good. I don't watch them as often as the other things, but I'm sorry, Amazing Spider-Man. You had promise, but your stories just did not bite. And your Peter Parker was not dorky enough when he was out of costume. He never really pegged me as a loser. He pegged me as a cool kid. And now he's even cooler because he can walk on walls. Didn't sell me too much, but I watch those occasionally. Still, even movies that I wouldn't put on the great list are still on the it's a thing to do list. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of movies that are still bad, but still fun enough to watch. Um, and even ones I know are horrible that I love to watch, I know they're bad, but I know I like them. And yeah, maybe it means I have bad taste. I don't care. It's my entertainment value. It's my $5 I spent on the DVD out of the grabby bin at Walmart because, yeah, I bought quite a few out of that grabby bin that was $5 or less. Why? It's a movie for $5 that I get to keep. I could watch as many times as I want. I've accidentally bought things twice out of that bin, forgetting I'd purchased them before, and that's why my parents have a copy of Crocodile Dundee 1 and 2, because I accidentally bought that one twice. But I wasn't going to take it back. It was $5. I was like, oh, I need my $5 back. Give it to somebody else. Let them enjoy it too. Yeah, but that's kind of my take on the situation. Movie does not have to be cinematic gold. You don't have to be a 10 Oscar winning and all the Emmy nominations or whatever all hoo ha. It doesn't have to gross 20 times what it costs to make. It just has to be fun. Have to enjoy yourself enough in your genre, in your way. And as long as you can do that, then I think almost any movie can be fun. Um, Especially if it fills in some kind of story gap, in some kind of main storyline, or just adds a little bit of extra fluff to your day. That's all it takes. just a little bit of something to make you have had a good day out of it, it's worth it. So, not to tell them to make bad stuff, but the Star Wars movie comes out, I'm going to watch it. If a new Marvel movie comes out, I'm going to watch it. Not necessarily going to go to the theater for it, but I'll buy the disc. Mostly because my movie theater at home has a pause button in case I gotta go pee while you're trying to show me an Avengers movie that's like 3 hours long. Even Lord of the Rings do better than that. They cut those things out for the cinematic release, then made you buy the movie twice on disc because then they'd come up with the extended version later. Only made that mistake like twice. Once because I was really anxious to watch Return of the King and I picked it up early and then I bought the extended version later when it came out. And then I bought it on Blu-ray. So they got my money like 3 times on that one movie. Thanks. Yeah. So that's some thoughts on movies, good or bad. Do you have a take on that? Do you have any movies that you know are really just flat out trash, but they really connect with you? Do you have an Incredible Hulk? Do you have a Blade 3? Do you have I'm trying to think of bad ones. Sometimes it's hard. Do you have a movie that just says, I'm yours, an Independence Day, a Starship Troopers 3, anything that just goes, that's my jam. It's stupid, but it's my stupid. Put it in the comments. I'm actually curious. And if anything, I might even watch some of them. So, give me some bad suggestions. Give me your horriblest movie that you actually like. Don't just give me a movie you know sucks and you hate too. Give me the one that you know is apparently horrible, but you love for some stupid reason. Maybe it's got an actor that just pulls it off. It just happens to have one of those best Keanu Reeves moments throughout or something. Or it's got a Lawrence Fishburne or Samuel Jackson. Someone that just went all out. Went snakes on a plane on that thing and just owned it. Let me know. If it's something I haven't seen, maybe I'll give it a shot. But for now, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that little dingly bell for said dingly bell. Let you know when I post new videos. They may be distraught and weird like this, but who knows? You might enjoy yourself. And my Patreon link will be in the description box below. But for now, from this husky fluff to all of you out there, barka barka barka, and thank you for spending time with me tonight. And I'll see you again on a future video. Stay puppylicious, and